What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, talking today about PlayStation because currently Sony is about to be sued for $7.9 billion over their mischievous practices with the PlayStation Store. Now, I want to take a look at this court case because a lot of subscribers have been sending it to me, and to be honest, I think it raises some points that definitely need to be addressed. Let's talk and let's take a look at the facts. Hi, if you're having a great day, be sure to give this video a like. Obviously, there was less videos this week because currently it's about to be Thanksgiving, and I'm just going to eat a bunch of turkey. Maybe I'll live stream. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. Obviously, I don't have really any family, so I kind of just sit around on Thanksgiving, typically watch an anime. But here we go. A class action lawsuit accusing Sony of overcharging PlayStation Store users by up to $5 billion can proceed to trial, the UK specialist court has ruled. Now, if you're wondering about the conversion rate, this is $7.9 billion. And apparently they're giving this accusation because apparently they're allegedly abusing its market position. Now, we're going to get into the details, but an important number to keep in mind as we discuss this entire gigantic price tag is the fact that PlayStation is undeniably crushing the console market. I mean, they are so far ahead, it's completely bonkers. Right now, PS5 is outselling the Xbox by about 7-1 in multiple markets. So PlayStation in the past, the more powerful they get, sometimes they don't fight fair. I mean, it happened a lot. The PlayStation 2 was a huge success, so PlayStation 3, they kind of made some mistakes. Then after the messes up they've had with PlayStation 3, they went back to kicking ass with the PlayStation 4, and now with the PlayStation 5, I think they realized that they are so far ahead they can really set the speed, set the trend. They can just force the market to follow their lead. But let me take a look at the lawsuit itself here. So what's happening is that this lawsuit that was technically filed last year has now officially been approved to go to trial. It alleges that Sony abuses its dominant position in the market by charging excessive PlayStation Store prices. The Japanese company is using its near monopoly on the digital sale of games and add-on content for the PlayStation Store to enforce strict terms and conditions on game developers and publishers. Now, I have read people talking about this in the industry before, which is that everything that sells, anything from PlayStation skins to Fortnite V-Bucks to obviously full-priced games, gets a 30% commission that goes straight to PlayStation, which means that obviously a lot of the billions of dollars that Sony makes every single year isn't even technically for the games they're making. It's not even about their content. It's just this 30% commission of every single dollar spent, which they claim results in excessive and unfair prices to consumer that are out of proportion to the costs Sony provided these services to its customers. Now, this is an interesting complaint because essentially what they're saying is that games are going to be more expensive on PlayStation because of this 30% price cut. If you're making a $100 million game, then you're probably going to charge $70 instead of $60 just to make sure you get that money back on your $100 million investment before you start even getting to profit. It's interesting though, because let's just face facts. A lot of different companies do this. Apple does this. Steam takes a cut. Everybody who has a platform, it's not cheap. Like, this goes beyond just the cost of a PlayStation console. Sony does have, obviously, server infrastructure, data loads. I mean, there's a lot of extra stuff going on. 30% commission is still a lot, but I'm saying, let me explain why they claim that the 30% price tag is important. So Sony tried to have their lawyers completely kill this last year by saying the suit is flawed from start to finish. But apparently, as of yesterday, it's been approved. It's actually set to go to the competitive appeal tribunal. So it means it's actually going to go to trial against Sony themselves. This is the first step in ensuring consumers get back what they're owed as a result of Sony breaking the law. PlayStation gamers' loyalty has been taken advantage of by Sony, who have been charging them excessive prices for years. It is significant that the competition court has recognized Sony must explain its actions by ordering them to trial. With this action, we are seeking to put a stop to this unlawful conduct and ensure customers are compensated. So, part of what's interesting about this is that I've been making videos for the last 10 years talking about the fact that digital games should get cheaper. It is weird that physical games have a price drop because typically, obviously, there's a resale, there's a market competition that drives prices down, whereas typically, games that are digital stay full priced much longer. Sometimes they'll even actually stay full price for years if there isn't a physical version of the game itself. Now, essentially, the argument has been that if we take off some of that big Sony cut, publishers, developers, they're more willing to drop the digital price faster since there's no longer that forceful incentive to basically pay Sony and still make their money on top of that. Now, this is just interesting because honestly, I don't know. I don't think this case will fully go through. I think they're bringing up good points, but this is going to take several years to reach a conclusion. It's a big old huge mess. But this price tag, I just think the terminology they're using of claiming that Sony is stealing almost $8 billion, like I almost think that there are times where a court case is too aggressive. You're seeking too high of a charge, too big of a price tag, and so therefore you're just not going to win because the dollar for dollar, buck for buck, pound for pound acquisition is just too much. I think PlayStation is just so far ahead. I'm kind of glad when people push back, legally or just by voicing their opinion. I want PlayStation to keep making good games. I want PlayStation to keep cranking out the amazing exclusives that keep me turning on my PlayStation. But at the same time, obviously, I want developers to get paid. I want to make sure that whatever it takes, that obviously Sony keeps making their games, but give me cool, quirky stuff. A 30% cut seems really big, but I'm very interested to watch this case develop and see what it is that PlayStation's lawyers claim is the necessity of that 30% flat tax that they're charging their best publishers. But what do you guys think about this? Are you curious to see how this case turns out, or does this seem like a big nothing burger? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Go eat a bunch of turkey. Also, we're about to have Black Friday. I'll be honest, this sale goes live shortly after this video goes live. I'm not paid by Wario64, but I'm definitely going to be trying to buy. The Walmart ad this year actually looks really good. I have a lot of these games, but there's a couple gems here that I want to have physically. I'm probably going to buy this. Sonic Superstars, I don't have that. I'm going to buy that. Hell yeah. Gaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.